Hey everybody, good morning. Hope you guys all have a good day. And I don't normally do two videos close together, but I just want to share with you, in my school and as I'm learning more about myself and um, different aspects of counseling and psychotherapy and all that kind of stuff. I'm learning the importance of listening and hearing and communicating and processing your feelings and how we express those feelings. The importance of anybody that's dealing with somebody, whether it's somebody that's a nurse or a social worker or a financial advisor or a probation officer or anything, when talking with our clients or whatever they are, or our patients, um, it's important to be aware of our environment, be aware of our internal feelings and how we express them, um, and how our body language and our eye contact and all these kind of things are important when dealing with these people. Because they need to know that we're listening and that we understand what they're saying and we relate what they're saying back to them. And they feel safe and heard. So, as parents, we go through life and we deal with our own issues and our own concerns in our life. And sometimes we get so caught up in what's going on around our own world that we're not paying attention to what our kids are doing or what they're trying to say to us. So, the other day I learned a good lesson and I really had to humble myself. Um, when we deal with our kids, like I said a few minutes ago, that sometimes we're so wrapped up with worrying about our finances or our health or retirement or whatever those things are that we're dealing with, or we can't do the things we used to do. And those are some of the things that I'm dealing with right now in my life. And the other day, and I hope one of my sons doesn't mind me sharing this, but for a long time I've been trying to understand one of my kids, understand where he's coming from. And because I spent so much time focusing on that and on my own issues, I really wasn't listening to what he was really trying to say. And I wasn't getting it. So yesterday we had a little bit of a blowout. And, for years I've been praying. I always pray for my kids. God's blessed me with an abundance of young people that have come into my life that don't have a father or don't have parents that are around and that are available. So God's really blessed me in that area. And so, with my business and all that, I hire a lot of these people that, come from broken families or their parents have died or whatever it is. And so I've been blessed that way. So, I've been so busy trying to deal with my own stuff. And as I said earlier, my wife and I spend a lot of time in prayer, um, asking God for guidance and ways to deal with situations with our kids. And I want to retire and things like that. And I want to know that my son's going to be okay and that he's going to have all the tools he needs to run this business successfully. And sometimes I assume things, and I listen to other people, and I come to conclusions that may necessarily not be true. And I don't give my son the benefit of the doubt. So yesterday, again, I just hope my son's not, he is okay with this, what I'm going to share. But yesterday we had a really good heart-to-heart talk, and I had to just be still and listen. Part of the skills we got to learn, as counselors, is we got to listen. We really got to feel and understand what they're trying to say. And I got to admit, I didn't get it for the longest time till yesterday. What my son's really been trying to say. Yeah, I heard it, but it just didn't go from here to my heart until yesterday. And I think that really was the turning point in our relationship. It was an answer to prayer because, ever since my kids have been born, I've just wanted to do the best I can, be the best father, assure them that they're loved and understood. But sometimes we get wrapped up in our own crap that we don't take time to just be still, not only listen to them, but listen to what God has to say to us as parents, as human beings, as we deal with people in our everyday lives. So yesterday I kind of had to eat humble pie and had to thank the Lord for taking the time to teach me. And the whole thing is that we got to be willing to be teachable. We never can be too old to learn. We can never be too old to learn from our kids. I've known that most of my life since I've been a father. But sometimes we just have to God has to just get our attention and allow us to learn, allow us to take the time to be teachable and to learn these things and put them into practice. See, a lot of times kids don't think they're being heard by the way we respond to them or the things we say. Some of the things we say can be very hurtful. And then as parents, I don't think that's our intention. But sometimes we just got to stop and just shut up and be quiet and listen to them. Take the time to understand, take the time to process and feel those feelings that they're feeling. If anybody should know that would be me. From my upbringing and how I grew up. In my videos I've shared, it's never too late to learn. It's never too late to say you're sorry. So, sorry, the power just went off. So, I have to learn to do that. I had to learn to humble myself and be willing to say I'm sorry to my kid, to my son. Because he needs to hear that too. He needs to hear that he's understood and that he's loved and accepted, even though we all make mistakes. Because Lord knows the good Lord did that to me every day when I was screwing up and making the mistakes I was making. He showed me his grace and his mercy. So as parents, we need to do that. Because sometimes we wonder why our kids do the things they do. We wonder why our daughter sleeps around. We wonder why our son does the things he does. Maybe in some ways that I can't always blame it on parents, because that's not always the case. But sometimes we got to take time, go somewhere and reflect on what's going on in your life and how it's influencing the way you respond to your kids, or the way you respond to people at work, or your neighbors, or whoever, your co-workers, people that work for you. It's important to do these things. And wow, I knew, but I just wasn't putting it into practice with my son. So man, I got a taste of real humble pie yesterday. So I just wanted to take the time to share what I've learned and what is important as parents. When we're talking to our kids, just be aware how you're feeling at that moment. Make sure your internal feelings are dealt with and that you don't take them to the conversation. Because the way you speak, the way you look at them, your body language, your posture, everything tells them something. It tells a story. It tells that person what you're going through. So put that aside and just go have a heart-to-heart with your kids. Yeah, life is hard as parents, or just anybody in general. But always be aware of what's going on inside of you before you go talk to your kids. If you believe in prayer, pray about it before you do anything, before you make any big decisions when it comes to communicating with people, whether it's going to the bank, or whether it's talking to a boss at work, or a co-worker, or some of your employees. Where's my head at today? What am I feeling inside? What's going on inside of me? And am I going to be able to communicate in a positive, loving way? If not, don't talk to them until you are in that place. Because it just sends the wrong messages. And most of the time, we're not people like that. We're loving, caring people. And that's what we got to communicate to them. Not hurt, not anger, or nothing. That's what we need to communicate positively to them. And we need to do that to our kids. It's very important that they be understood and heard. And there's so many factors that play a role in that, like I said earlier. How you speak to them, your body language, what's going on in your day, and how are you going to handle it when you speak to them. Make sure all those things are in place and you got some peace about your own stuff before you go talk to somebody. Because I didn't do that yesterday. And I feel bad. It should have never happened, but it did. But you know what? Some good came out of it, and that's all that matters. I was able to have a heart-to-heart with my son. And he shared some things that must have not been easy for him to share. And it gave me a better understanding what he's going through and what he's trying to do in his life. And that's a big answer to prayer. So whether you're a parent who doesn't believe in God, just try to pray and see what happens before you go talk to your kid, or before you start your day. Pray. Ask for guidance. And when you go to your kids, ask for wisdom. Ask God to give you the words to speak in love. Just try it. And I guarantee you'll see the difference of the outcome and the response. So have a good day. And sorry about the power thing. I'm just sitting in my car or my truck, waiting for my workers. And I just wanted to share with you. And I should get going because it's the time of year I start losing my voice. So God bless you. And I hope this message helps. And may you have an awesome day. And may you feel God's presence in your life. And feel his loving arms around you. So take care until we meet again. God bless you.